Hey guys, welcome back to the shack. I got most of my projects that I need to get done. Got those finished. A couple stove covers, a few cutting boards, a couple of other jobs that I had in the shop, and hopefully tonight or today, I'm going to do at least one project for myself here in the shack, and that's what I'm trying to get in a habit of, trying to make room to kind of fix things here as I go. So yesterday, while I was doing my stove covers and everything, I realized that the box that my gloves came in, they packed a lot of gloves in this little box, and every time I pull on it, the box just comes apart. So I got to thinking, it wouldn't be that difficult for me to make a box that I could mount over by the table there, to where I could drop these guys down in there and have a hole just like this box does, and be able to pull those out, and that would support this box and keep it from breaking. It would get these off of a shelf and on the wall, which if you have a small workshop like I do, you understand that room is everything. So the more you can maximize space and efficiency, the better off you are. So that's what I'm going to do today. And we'll be using free tools and things that you guys can get your hands on to help with this. And if that's something you're into, being able to make your own project like this, then stick around and we're going to go each step all the way to finished project and show you how it's done. So, be back shortly. All right, so one of the first things that we've got to do, guys, is we've got to figure out exactly how we want to lay this out as far as the dimensions and the size. What I like to do is go by the inside dimensions of whatever it is that I'm working with, and just kind of do myself a little quick sketch so that I don't have to go back and measure things as we're moving through. So for this, I'm just going to use a standard ruler, and I'm going to measure the box. And this is on the outside, like I said. So it's pretty simple. I mean, if you've ever worked a ruler, you should know this part. Now, apparently, I don't know if you can hear it, but apparently Max has rolled his ball down the hill, and he wants me to come get it and throw it back in the yard. But he does this repetitively. So we're just going to pretend that we don't hear a dog barking and move on for now. It's a sunny day, and I guess he just wants me to come play with the ball or somebody. All right, guys, over here in boxes.py, and that's where we're going to be starting with this project. This is an easy way to build boxes, especially if you want to save some time and effort. So this is a box that we're going to be generating. It's something similar to this. All right, when you're looking at these boxes, you got to remember, especially with an open top, this has an open top, so you have to kind of work with your dimensions to have the open part where you want it. And in this case, we want the box to be long, wide, and deep, but the open part here. So you've got to look at this box as being that design. So the X is actually going to be, on mine, this is actually going to be the width of the box, which is going to be 122. The Y, because I'm wanting this thing to be stood up, long ways, is going to be 58. And then the height is going to be the overall length of the box, because I want to come in from the long end of the box. So it's going to be 235. So that's going to be the dimensions that we need. You're going to want to make sure you take the outside, you unclick that. The next section is going to be for your output settings. This is the material thickness. I'm going to be using 4.5 millimeter Luron. And I want the file as a LightBurn file so that I can edit it in LightBurn. I'm not going to change anything with the tabs. Labels I don't need. Reference I don't need. Here I want corners and not loops. Those little loops can create issues sometimes, especially once you start trying to edit and put everything together. So I like corners better. The kerf or the burn, I always just run 0.15. It seems to work good with all the machines, the square body diodes that I have here in the shop. So that's the settings for the box. So next thing to do, generate the file. It's going to generate it up here, and then we're just going to double click that, and it should open it in LightBurn for us. Switch over here to LightBurn. You're going to get this pop-up basically saying that it was created in boxes.py. You can actually turn that off and hit OK, and it'll go away. So as you can see here, we've got a bottom, then we got the long, tall box, kind of thick. So it looks like we laid it out correctly. It is set, that's new. It is set a little different for the workspace. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm just going to take that, I'm going to select it, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. We'll be cutting this out on the X40 Max. So that's got me laid out there, and just to make everything accurate. I don't have the machine turned on yet. This is the only part that I'm going to be modifying, is either one of these two, because this is your front and back. So one of these two here, I need the opening in the middle of this. And the easiest way to come up with that is to measure the size of the hole that you want. In this instance, we're going to go with 40 by 125. That's going to be just slightly bigger than what it is on the cardboard box. So I'm going to make me a little square rectangle here, and I'm going to set it for 40. Turn the lock off, 125, and enter. So that is basically the shape of where the gloves come out. So I'm just going to click that one. I'm going to hold Control, click the second shape over here, and then I'm just going to use the bullseye to locate it in the middle here. So that should work. Now, I don't like these sharp corners here, so what I want to do is come over here with a radius and radius these corners a little bit, just so it looks more like the box beneath. It's a little more finished. All right, so that's that should be about all we need to do, as long as I haven't any oversights on the measurements. Now, all of this is going to have to be set to a cut, and I'm going to come over to my cuts and layers. Why is there a tool line? That's what that was. Okay, so we're going to delete that tool line. Don't know where that came from. I guess boxes.py put that in there. But anyway, I don't need that. So we got all this set to a cut. I'm going to run this at about, I think I'll do 10 millimeters a second, just to make sure. Don't want any snags on any of this. So there's our file. So now all we need to do is get a machine up and going and cut this thing out. All right, and I'm going to move it to my park location, which is in the back left corner. That gets it out of the view of the camera, because I just like my camera view to be clean and unobscured. So there we go. That's the design. All right, so this is going to be the top. This is going to be the bottom. All these where the slots are is the bottom, and this is a little piece that's going to insert for the bottom. I kind of want to put me a little text on there, be a little extra special, but I think we're just going to go with plain for now, maybe later. So the machine's home, we're good to go. I'm going to hit the frame. You should be able to see over here, or you can see over here, the machine is framing it out, and I've got a piece of 4.5 millimeter Luan in there. I cut my stock material to 17.5 by 35 for this enclosure. That gives me more than enough room to do things without running out of space. So once that is completed, I'm going to go over and check the focus first, because I was engraving a project yesterday. So let me check this. And it's a good thing I checked it, guys, because that would have been really, really high on the focus, and I would have wasted some material. Not a bad idea to check it. So I'm going to start this guy out. We'll let that burn, and we'll go to the assembly and testing part of this video, which I hope to get it right the first time. Not going to lie to you, sometimes it takes a couple of tries because minor miscalculations, but hopefully it'll work out this go around. All right, guys, so that's the importance of good air assist. I don't know if you saw how well my specially tuned air assist did, but look at the material. There's no scorching anywhere. I've got some videos on the setup if you're interested. But yeah, so far it looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna move over. Not gonna be a lot of audio for this. Maybe I'll give you some music or something, but I'm gonna move over here and put this little guy together and test fit it and make sure we did everything right. All right, so other than I had meant to put me a little notch, like a little half circle in the top to make it a little easier to get the boxes in and out, I forgot about that, so I didn't do it. But other than that, it turned out just how I wanted it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put this in the center over there, kind of over my work table. And I'm going to reach through here with some lathe screws. And the reason I use lathe screws is they have a wide, flat head that grips really well in this thin Luan. If you try to use tapered screws or anything like that, you can have, especially like some of these gloves are a little stubborn, and that's also why I use CA glue putting this together. That and CA glue is a little faster than typical wood glue, and it dries clear for the most part. So that's the reason I did that, is because sometimes, y'all know how it is, you get these gloves and they cram these things in there to the point where you have to pull kind of hard. And so I wanted to make sure that the face didn't pull off of it or it didn't pull apart, because it's going to be anchored from the back panel and be pulling on the front. And so that could, if I didn't have good enough fit, pull it apart. I think just the friction fit alone, because adding that 0.15 kerf gives me just enough to where I have to tap it together with a rubber hammer. And you can see it doesn't damage the fittings or anything like that. So everything looks good. But it keeps it from being able to pull loose even without glue. But I added the super glue, or the CA glue, just as a precaution to make sure it doesn't pull apart. And so now, instead of having this little flimsy box sitting on my shelf, I can just take this box, slide it in here. Now, of course, these that are sticking out, I have to kind of push those in. But I'll have this mounted to the wall, and I can just pull the gloves out. And it's right by the paper towels, which I use when I'm gluing or something like that. But this is going to give me a little more organization as far as where my stuff is and being able to access it quickly without having to walk around the shop all day. And I've got a little space over there that I can put it. So I'll try to get this mounted and include a picture of what it looks like in my little workstation over here as well. But guys, that is a simple, easy project if you're just getting into lasers and you want to like be able to show some stuff off and put some stuff in your shop that is practical and useful. I don't know how much a box to hold your gloves to mount on the wall would cost, because I don't buy them. But this was literally like maybe a couple of dollars worth of Luan. I use 4.5 millimeter Luan, and it serves a purpose. That's what is great about having these lasers, is you can imagine an idea, design it. And yes, guys, you could have, if you wanted to, created yourself your own little finger joints and stuff like that and completely designed this thing in LightBurn. But let's face it, guys, a lot of you are new and you're like me and just don't want to take the time to do it. So this is kind of an easy way to do it. So I hope this helps. And like I said, I'm going to get a little picture of what it looks like after I get it mounted, and I'll try to drop that right there so you can see the usefulness of the laser. But if you hadn't already, guys, hit the subscribe button. I'm always trying to create content that you guys would like or would want to watch. And if you have any ideas of content, let me know, and I'll try to work that in. But this was one of those things that I felt like would fit anybody's shop. Anybody that does woodworking typically is going to have gloves, and gloves are one of those consumables that you can't get away from. So until next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.